All right. I'm I'm recording a game of LackeyDGZ here, just so everyone can kind of see how it works. We're just gonna play a quick game of goats. So hopefully you see that all this stuff is pretty straightforward. So I'm just gonna click this roll button here to roll. I'm gonna go first. And yeah, so we are playing goats, just because I didn't feel like making a current format deck. But of course, all this stuff is the same for current format too. And I've got my my 6-card hand, so I'm just gonna drag this pot of greed here, draw 2, drag pot of greed to the graveyard, and then I'm gonna flip this over. And here I have all my opponent's cards displayed. Here we can see as 5 in hand. And then I'm going to set my monster here, flip this over, drag a spell or trap, and then I'm just going to say end turn.
Done.
And yeah, he knows how to advance at his turn, so now we're in his draw phase. He's drawing to 6 in hand, as we can see. Right here, I've opened up this second tab using right here there's this plus minus thing, so I have it set to plus, so I can sort of see all my opponent's cards and mine at the same time, which is, I mean, I find that to be convenient. Some people don't know that you can do that.
Yeah.
So I guess he's a little new to the program, but yeah, this stuff is pretty straightforward. Just set a card, you just flip it over and then drag it to the field. And I guess he's setting back over to me. So we'll go ahead and advance to my turn. I'll draw. I'll go to my main phase. So we've got a pretty good hand here. We're probably winning this game. So I'm going to flip this over, double click to switch to attack. And I'm going to add Pot of Greed to my hand. And I'm going to play Pot of Greed. I'm going to draw 2. And all this stuff is pretty simple, just dragging and dropping cards. That's all the program is. And I'm going to go ahead and summon this guy for my turn. So I'll drag him to the field. I'll click on the card and I'll do counter plus to give it a counter. And here we have some hotkeys. So I can just click that button to ask him if he has a response. Oh, none. Okay. So I'll just click that, do the counter minus, and you know, he only has 1 spell or trap, so looks like he lost a Mirror Force. And you know, now we can see what's in his graveyard if we want to. And I'm going to go ahead and cross out to get rid of his monster. So yeah, to get rid of that, he can just drag it to the banished. So yes, now I'm going to go ahead and I got to search here. So I'm going to just reveal the deck zone to myself. Then I'm going to find Dakochi. Drag both my copies of Dakochi here. We are playing a mirror, so we both have Dakochis. And then now I'm going to do reveal to owner, none, and shuffle. So then I'm going to go ahead and drag these over banished. So yes, now you can see that we both have 2 Dakochis in our banished pile. I'm going to go ahead and drag cross out to my grave. And
Attack.
I'm going to go ahead and attack with both my monsters. I'm not sure if he knows how to subtract life points. Yeah, I guess he does. So that's a 16 for breaker.
Attack.
Okay. Yeah.
Attack.
Then we're gonna go ahead and set dust. So now we've got a book and dust set, and I'm gonna end my turn. So we're in a pretty good position here. Our opponent has only 4 cards in hand. But yeah, you'll see here there's all these tabs that show yeah, the number in each zone. So I have 5 in hand, he has 5 in hand. I've got 27 in deck, he has 32. And you know, that way if I were to activate like that grass looks greener or something, I'd know how many cards I would mill right away. So we're gonna advance to my turn. Gonna draw a card. And we're gonna go to the main phase. And so now I want to use my book, so I just click flip over. I'm gonna flip my faith over. Drag my book to the grave. And I'm gonna flip it over again. Get this Pot of Greed to my hand. Then I'm gonna go ahead and activate Pot of Greed. So we're gonna go ahead and draw 2 more. And I'm gonna cross out this guy again. Obviously, we're very ahead at this point, especially now that we have his Sinister. We can see all the banished cards here. So I guess now at this point, I can add another monster to my board, or try to conserve more. So let's see, how many life points does he have? He has 6,100. So if we attack for 19, that puts him to 42. If we add another monster to our board, the Blade Knight, that puts him down to 16. So yeah, I guess we'll just do that actually. So I'm just going to summon this guy. I'm going to move to my battle phase, and I'm going to attack with them all. So that'll be 35 in total. Yeah, so he's at 26. And then I think just my set Dust Tornado is enough. I don't want to set any more back rows. So I'll just pass the turn. And yeah, I mean, I guess if he has like a Metamorphosis that he can play, that would be really good.
Okay.
But he's just gonna concede, so we'll go to the next game. So I mean, there's 2 ways to reset the game. You can either just reload your deck, or you can just drag them all back to your deck like this, and shuffle. Yeah, there's a shuffle shortcut there. The reason, you know, if the reason that dragging them back is better is that way the person can't load a different deck if you want to play like 2 out of 3 and make sure they're not like cheating and changing decks in the middle of the match. So I'm just gonna tell my opponent that I'm not siding. But if I did want to side here, it'd be pretty simple. I would just take whatever cards that I want to put in my deck, and I would just, you know, drag them over to my deck like this, right? I just drag and drop into my deck, and then I would do the same thing. Drag cards in, drag cards out. See, I think I shuffled already, but I'll make sure. So this is a pretty good hand going second, actually. We have a Blade Knight to attack into whatever his set monster is, and we can graceful discard Air Knight and bring it back with call. I guess he has a graceful as well. And I guess his first card that he wants to discard is Dekochi. So I don't know what that means. I guess he has to have a pretty good hand if he wants to discard Dekochi, because Dekochi's a pretty good card. So Dekochi and Scapegoat, that seems fine, I guess. Alright, so it's our turn. More than likely he has some sort of set flip effect monster. Either way, I'm going to graceful, so I'm just going to do that now before I attack. Maybe I'll draw like a premature for my Air Knight. That would be really good. Well, we didn't draw premature, but I mean, we drew duo, which is quite good. So I'll put Air Knight in my grave, and even like, I don't think Book of Moon will be that helpful for this particular game, so I'll just put Book to my grave as well. And yeah, just in case like his set monster's saying it, I want to duo him first. So to subtract life points, we just do slash minus like that, and then it just takes him right off. And then I'm gonna tell him how to resolve duo since he's kind of new to the program. But yeah, the way that you would resolve duo is just do discard one at random like that. Yep. So you'll see it says he randomly discards Snatch Steal from his hand to the top of his graveyard. I mean, so that's good for us. Snatch Steal's a really good card. And then he's going to discard Magician of Faith. So yeah, now I'm going to go ahead and summon Blade Knight. And I'm going to go to my battle phase, and I'm going to attack his set monster. Okay, so we negated his merchant. So we've got 5 cards right now. All he has is 3 in hand and none in grave. So I mean that's really good for us. So I'm flipping this over. I'm gonna set my call, and I'm gonna end my turn. Alright, so we're back to him. Now, if he had like a breaker, that would be really good. Because he could break my call and then trade with my Blade Knight or something like that. Ooh, set 3. That's interesting. I guess I'm not really sure what that means. He has 1 in hand and he's going to his end phase. I mean, there's a lot of things we could do, actually. But let's go to our turn, see what we draw first. Metamorphosis is okay, I guess. We can't really use it now. But, we could attack, and then if he plays Scapegoat, we could, like, call Air Knight and try to pierce. Or we could just, like, heavy and try to press our advantage, but then he probably changed goats. I mean, probably the best play here is to attack and then set Dekochi and say go. I think that puts him in the worst position overall. So I'm going to do that.
Attack.
I guess if we set a monster and set 2 spells or traps, our Blade Knight will gain 400. But I don't really want to do that. Okay. So we're winning the life points game now. And setting this Decochio really put a lot of pressure on our opponent. Because he just kind of has to deal with that now. And yeah, that'll be it for us. I mean, if our opponent has like a Metamorphosis, we don't really have any way to deal with that. That's about like the worst thing that can happen here to us. Yeah, and Lackey does a bunch of sound effects. If you don't like sound effects, there actually is a way to disable that under preferences. Geez. So I guess he has a delinquent duo. I guess that's not really that bad for us. None of these cards in our hand are like that useful anyway. So, like I said, we got to discard 1 at random. And, I mean, I guess Heavy Storm has to be better than Metamorphosis, right? Yeah, we'll just keep the Heavy Storm. See, I don't know what this means here. But he still has 1 card in hand. And yeah, that Scapegoat didn't really help us. I guess if we'd kept the Metamorphosis, he could have gone well with that. So what are his sets? I mean, he could have like a bunch of chainables or no chainables. Like the only relevant chainables here are Ring and Goats. And I feel like if he had Goats, he would have just used it on the Blade Knight attack last turn. Or at least there's a decent chance he might have done that. And if he has Ring, I actually just don't really care that much. So I think this is a decent time to Heavy Storm. So yeah, I would just do that. I mean, this could be a really good Heavy Storm or a really bad one. I really have no idea. Okay, so he has Ring. So our Blade Knight's at 2k right now. So we'll both take 2,000. So that's fine. I mean, we effectively traded 2 for 2. Which is okay. Because, I mean, we get to like flip our Decochi and push our advantage. Which is pretty good for us. Yeah, and then we get to set merchant and push our advantage even more, and so on. So yeah, I'm just going to attack. Like the nice thing about that ring is, okay, it killed our guy, but he still lost 2,000 life points. So this Decochi's gonna put him, at only 2,000 left. So I'm just gonna set the rest of my hands. Yeah, I probably won't be able to use goats anytime soon, but I mean, here we're essentially just setting it as a bluff. That way, he has to consider, oh, is our set Sakuretsu armor when he's making his plays. So yeah, our opponent's got 2 cards in hand to our 3-card board. But I mean, he could still come back. What does he have in his graveyard? I mean, he has a Light and a Dark, and this deck does play 1 Chaos Sorcerer. So, I mean, a Chaos Sorcerer would be pretty good right now. Even a Blade Knight would be really good. Like, Blade Knight attack my merchant, I wouldn't really be able to do anything about that. So, you know, we're definitely favored to win, but not guaranteed to win. So he's playing premature. He's gonna take 800. I'm guessing he's gonna like premature level 1 in Metamorphosis. Yeah, so he is gonna just target his Faith. I guess he could also have a Tsukiyomi. It's a possibility. I mean, that'd be like kind of risky. Yeah, I mean he is meta. It doesn't shock me too much. So I mean that's gonna at least buy him some time. And I mean here he can take the face down, or he can take the Dakochi and attack the face down. I mean one isn't really a lot better than the other, I think. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, taking a deco is probably better. And I guess it depends on what he thinks my face down is. But, I mean, he could attack my face down, or he could just pass turn, right? Because if he passes turn, I can't flip it. Because Thousand Eyes prevents battle changes. Yeah, okay, so I guess taking deco and passing is interesting to say the least. But yeah, we can't do anything. Can't flip my set. No point in activating goats. Can't cross out anything. So there's probably going to be a lot of draw passing for the next few turns since, you know, I only have one card in hand. Now he's drawing to one card in hand. There's not a lot either of us can do at this point. Just gotta wait until someone has an out. Well, we've drawn two crossouts now. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and use one. I mean, no need to like let him top deck Tsukiyomi and then flip his face down to Magician of Faith. That would be brutal. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cross out. Okay. So yeah, I think I still have a Dakochi left in my deck. So there's my one Dakochi. Then we're gonna do none and shuffle. Yeah, so yeah, he's got one Dakochi in his grave, one banished. That's fair. So yeah, I'm just gonna pass turn. Nothing else I can do really.
Done.
Okay. So yeah, we've I still got a pretty even game. We're just kind of seeing whose top decks are better. And he's gonna tribute for Air Knight. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Attack.
So hopefully this merchant gets me something good. So I'm just gonna flip over until we get a spell or trap. So that meta is pretty good because we have a scapegoat set, and you'll see we put the two Tsukiyomis and the merchant in our grave. And yeah, it looks like our opponent drew a card off his Air Knight. And if he doesn't set a spell or trap here, he's just dead.
Good game. Good game.
Yeah, and you can always spam these messages at the end of the game. Alright, well, so yes, that's how you play a duel in LackeyDGZ. Here I just played a game of Goats. It was over pretty quickly, but, you know, works same way for current format too. So let me guys know if you have any questions in the comments. Peace out.